So what are Amazon PPC bulk files in the first place? Everything from one place, and to wrap it up, upload a campaign file or a CSV file to the advertising console instead of doing it one by one on the campaign managers.
Awesome. Today we are going to do a video on how to download Amazon bulk files to do mass campaign updates and add value at scale. Today I've got Gabe on here. He's a PPC expert and he's going to walk us through this. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, so what are Amazon PPC bulk files in the first place? Basically, they are downloadable spreadsheets, usually in CSV format, and they contain all of your advertising campaign data. This is sponsored products, sponsored brands data, sponsored display data. And the magic of the bulk file is that you can analyze, edit everything from one place, and to wrap it up, upload a campaign file or a CSV file to the advertising console instead of doing it one by one on the campaign manager. So what I'm going to do together with Eric today is we're going to walk you through where you download your bulk file, what are the instances you should exclude or keep in your bulk file. And once that bulk file is ready, we will go together with you and go by each one of the different tabs available within the bulk file. So you are able to navigate, what are the instances you can edit and what are the instances you can change. You will want to go under advertising.amazon.com to land under your account advertising console. And you'll want to head to the top left corner, go under sponsored ads and find the bulk operations subpage. You'll click on there and it'll take you to the basically Amazon bulk sheets panel control under the advertising console. You will see that the first option you got is to select different date ranges. Depending on the time of the month, I usually go for month to date or last 30 days. This might be a good time to download a month to date bulk file. However, if you're doing it for the first time and you want to analyze as much data as possible, you can go as back as 60 days, and you can just have different date range pulled as well, depending on what do you want to compare. Under sponsored products targeting and keyword filter, you can nowadays go ahead and select both enabled and paused campaigns or paused targets. I usually select both just in case, I want to identify something that hasn't been used in the past, or perhaps that was paused in the past that I should look forward to enable again. I don't know. People nowadays use different automations and you don't know if something that was yielding good results got paused and that you should have not. So it is always a good practice to go ahead and select both enabled and paused.
Absolutely. I think that double checking all automations and having some layer of accountability is always a good idea.
Amazing. And then the bulk file will ask for you to check mark or mark the box for things that you would like to include within. I most of the times will leave out budget rules data or guidance for sponsored products, brand assets data. It's just an ID for, things that you will necessarily need to do or use on a day-to-day basis. And then, of course, you got, archive campaigns, pause campaigns, campaigns with 0 impressions. This is an interesting one. Sometimes if you have been, if you have delegated your PPC to somebody else and other people have been adding search terms, or there's an automation that adds search terms to your campaigns, you will end up with a lot of keywords with 0 impressions that are a potential risk to your account on overspending or diluting money where you don't necessarily have put a lot of attention. So sometimes, adding this under your campaigns, it's important to understand how many search terms have been added to your campaigns that don't necessarily generate impressions, but they are there, and they're a sleeping risk that whenever CPCs go much lower, they could trigger and spend money for you.
Now that we got all the settings set up, then is that all the settings that you recommend right there?
Yeah, I would probably say something like we will leave the campaigns, the campaign items or campaign targets with 0 impressions for later. Or for another video, and we will go ahead and for this bulk file, we will go over, include everything that you see on screen right now.
Awesome. Let's rock and roll.
So we will want to click on create a spreadsheet for download. This will automatically generate a spreadsheet down below here under bulk spreadsheet history. And we are ready to hop on step number 2, which is edit your file. We will be able to add up to 1,000 keywords and bits to an ad group, and we need to make sure that we're applying the correct match type to our keyword. Basically, just Amazon, very, very pretty short recommendation of how we should approach bulk files. Finally, we will be able to upload our bulk files here, and they will reflect under the right column over here. So we're good to go onto the file. I already had a bulk file prepared for us to go over. This is what the bulk file looks like. It is separated by tabs. And you will see we have our first tab where we can see what portfolios have been created in the account. So the first thing we will see once we open the bulk file will be different tabs for basically every different ad type or grouping of search terms Amazon has available for us to edit. Most of the bulk files we will look forward to edit are the sponsored product campaigns, the sponsored brand campaigns, and the sponsored display campaigns. If we come under portfolios, which is the first thing you will see whether or not there are portfolios created in the account. Portfolios are basically a bucket of campaigns, and you can go ahead and bucket your campaigns into different portfolios that you can create out of necessity, right? Some people go and create portfolios depending on strategy, like category, competitor, brand. Other people create portfolios by product line. And if you have any portfolios created in your account, they will reflect right here and they'll be identified through a portfolio ID. And as we navigate the bulk file, we will see that, there are sponsored product campaigns, but there are no sponsored brand campaigns within the account, and there are no sponsored display campaigns within the account. So, if you just bought an Amazon business and you have no idea whether or not they're running multiple ad types within the account, this is a good way to have our representation on whether or not those are being executed on. We can see that, and this is not the case, but they have relied on sponsored products, running auto and manual campaigns. We're seeing that under column Q right now. Let me zoom in a bit for you here. So we'll go ahead and probably stay around this tab to navigate what are the potential changes we could make to a bulk file.
Awesome. One thing I always say when I open up a bulk file is that is incredibly messy. And so what are we going to do to clean this up and make it so that we can make it so it makes sense and simplify it to add value?
Absolutely. So probably the one thing to fight feeling overwhelmed about a bulk file, especially because for bigger accounts this will be thousands and thousands of rows, is if we go under entity. Let's explore column A first. Column A will refer to the actual ad type. So column A, since we are under the sponsored products tab, it's going to be the same. It'll be sponsored products for every single cell here. But column B, though, will be how the campaign is actually structured. Or we all know that there are different targeting options within campaigns, right? You can target products, you can target keywords, and then those need to live within an ad group, and then the ad group lives within a campaign, right? So and it looks pretty much like this. If we take a look at the order here, it goes keyword. The keyword lives under the ad group, basically the keyword lives under the ad group, and then this ad group lives under the campaign. Somehow they are placed in order here, so that we can see a representation of what the campaign looks like. So if we isolate these alone, we can see that we could see that this is the same campaign. You can see the campaign name here is the same, right? And because it basically encloses every single instance so the campaign can work. The campaign will need a keyword, which is identified here under B9. Then it will need an advertised product. That's what product ad stands for, which is right here. It shows the SKU and the ASIN information. Let me open up this for you. And then we will have, both of those, the advertised product, the product ad, and the keyword will need to live within an ad group, right? Which is this one right here. Now, you might be wondering, well, all that is cool and I get it, but then what the heck is bid adjustment and what does it stand for? Well, bid adjustments work at the campaign level. And if you haven't heard of them before, they're basically the instances where you can add things like the placement modifier or the beta adjustment modifier at the campaign level, for instance, is like top of search, rest of search, more recently Amazon Business and product pages. So those are also those kind of live under the campaign at the campaign level. So that's why they're right below the campaign section.
Awesome. Well, that's amazing that you just broke that down. Let's see if we can make it so that let's see if we can we simplify this in a way to make it so clean it up a bit. Because to you this probably looks pretty straightforward, but probably to most people this is probably overwhelming the first time they open it up.
Absolutely. And let's say, let's go ahead and use a few use cases so that, people can feel a lot more familiar with the use cases of bulk files or with the capabilities of a bulk file. I'm under sponsored products. And let's say I need to, let's say I'm running out of stock and I really need to bring my bits down because yes, I would like to keep spending, but I would rather, spend a lot less if I am running at the risk of running out of stock. So one of the things I could do is I could filter by entity. And I could filter both keywords and product targets. So you can see that if I sort this by type, I only got 4 keywords within my account. And I got, this amount of product targets, which are a total of 12. Now, I want to go ahead and lower my ad spend under these targets because, I'm looking forward to limit my ability to spend because I'm running low on stock. Like that's my current scenario, right? For that, what I would need to do is look into the instances where I'm spending money, right? So I could come in here and top down by ad spend, and I could look into my current bits here, and I would need to edit those bits in order for me to lower my spend. So let's say we're gonna do that under these first 2. So I'm gonna take these 2. And as simple as doing something like editing the bit under here, let's say, this one's going to go down 50%, so we're going to go 35 cents, and this one's going to go down another 50%. We will be able to, just like this, literally, and just by adding an extra step under operation, which is what do we want to do with this rows, which is an update. We, just like that, are able to, within 2 different campaigns, simultaneously switch your bit to a different level we decided what it was going to be. Another use case for this would be, let's say, let's go back to the entire thing here. Let's say you would like to reduce your campaign budgets or increase your campaign budgets at scale. So you could come and select campaign instead, and you could go ahead and create or submit a different daily budget for each one of your campaigns. So for this instance, you will want to select all of the rows. I'm right now just adding another tab, but in reality, the best practices is that you go ahead and copy paste this into a different Excel file. So just so that Amazon only reads the particular tab or the particular sheet you're uploading. Just for the record. So on here, it would also be update. I'm just doing it backwards this time. And then if you scroll to the daily budget section, we are basically able to, say, okay, let's double in budget. So I'm going to do 52, 40. You can do this with a quick formula. But if I wanted to raise my budgets across all of my campaigns, and I'm lazy to do it click by click because it's not 7 campaigns, but 70 instead. Like this is another way to quickly do it. And then, you take this, create a new, like you can go ahead and copy and paste this in a new file and upload this as a new file under here.
So we've gone over how to adjust the bid, how to increase the campaigns, and how to, using a filter, how to select the rows that we want to adjust and to kind of clean it up. And essentially the best way to do it is to copy the ones you want to edit, add them to a new sheet, make adjustments, and then upload them to Amazon. Is there any other cool use cases that we could lay out for them?
Yeah, I think it will depend on the context of every seller. Something that's best practices for us. Like if we look under bid adjustments, for instance, and we come and check let's say what kind of bidding strategy they're using. Regularly, I try to stick with down only versus up and down or fixed bids. This is also, another potential fix. So if I would come under bidding strategy and I don't like up and down, you are free to go ahead and explore the different dynamics across every single one of these instances and bidding strategies. Me personally, I like better down only. I think you feel the same way, Eric. It's just a matter of more control and a matter of more predictability, and that's what down only supports sometimes.
Are you trying to tell me that you would like to control what you spend money on and not let Amazon spend more money than you would like? Is that what you're saying?
Basically, the theory behind up and down is Amazon will go ahead and increase your bids up to 100% for the likelihood of a sale. But Amazon probably has a different idea of what the likelihood of a sale looks like versus what I believe the likelihood of a sale looks like. Especially because they usually lean more towards the awareness and higher up the funnel strategies versus you usually going or trying to find a lot more long hanging fruit or a lot more descriptive keywords so that you really nail it when it comes to search discovery. So this is more of a personal preference, especially when having more control. So this is another instance where if we wanted to just switch this to down only and we don't want to do it across 40 campaigns at the same time, it's just as easy as I can follow like doing this. There are a lot of things that will come into play for changes like this. Like for instance, we are going to see different ad spend because ad spend will adjust in a different way. That could become a video on its own. So there are instances that we will need to follow along or follow up against when making changes like this. The other one that it's interesting is the placement changes. This is probably my absolute favorite, and I think we could dig into a strategy here. Let's say I come, let me just remove the filter so that we start from scratch here. So if I remove the filter and then do a filter again, and we had seen that we could do keyword campaigns, or under keyword campaigns, we could influence top of search visibility a lot more. So one of the instances to do that would be we go ahead and select bid adjustment, and then we could go ahead and say, hey, actually, I would like to have a bigger portion of our budget showcase at top of search rather than other places in the platform. So I could go ahead and select placement top. We can see that we already got some of these enabled, but they're very small, like they're 10 or 5%, or some of these are still at 0%. And we can compare it for an individual campaign on its own. So I'm gonna take a step back and analyze it from a different angle with so that we can see how does it compare. Because we could go bid adjustment. I'm gonna add campaign as well, and I'm gonna add keyword. So we only have 2 campaigns, as you recall, where we got keywords. So it's these 2, right? And the placement data shows that we have advertising bid adjustments or placement modifiers. They used to be called placement modifiers, and then Amazon changed the wording to bid adjustments. And we can see here that we got enabled both product pages, placement modifier, a top of search modifier, and a rest of search modifier all at the same time. Although the one that's getting the best results, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's
just a funny thing to say about that. By increasing it by almost the same amount, they should probably just increase their bid by 10%. It'd probably have the exact same result.
It could. However, we can begin to see here the difference between CBR on the different available occasions within Amazon. They have a modifier of 12% on their product pages. They spend $23 with no sales. They have a modifier of 0 on their business Amazon business pages or Amazon business accounts. They have only spent 48 cents to generate a sale. And on the rest of search and top of search, where historically we are likely to see the best results, They have spent $8 to generate 2 orders, but the mind blowing one is placement top of search, where they have spent $7.60 to generate 8 orders, with a placement percentage change of just 10%. So when comparing something like this, my mind goes to, okay, perhaps I could go ahead and set a placement increase that only influences this instance in the campaign. So double this or triple this, so that we allocate more of our ad spend towards top of search. And it is only happening across these 2 campaigns, because the rest don't really include keywords on them. As we saw, there were product targets. So we could come here and run the same analysis for my second campaign, which we can see spend was $52 to generate $400. That's 27 orders. And although this one doesn't have a placement modifier in place, it's clear that it is winning against rest of search in a very decent way. Only $11 allocated to generate 2 orders. So top of search seems to be the absolute winner between these 2 campaigns.
Yeah, that one seems like a definite clear winner. I've met with many ad reps, and the issue that I have with them is that they always make these suggestions on bids and keywords and yada yada, and I say, well, my job is to essentially grow the brand sustainably, profitably, and hit the benchmarks that the brand would like. And they set these suggestions, and I say, okay, I'm happy to implement them, but could you please show me the KPI that you are that you're operating off of? Because ours is typically tacos, ACOS, net, top line, something to that effect. And at the end of the day, they say they're not going to show you, but at the end of the day, it is spend, it's clicks, they want to spend your ad revenue. So it is important that you are responsible for your client and do what's best for them. Yeah,
absolutely. I think Amazon definitely wants you to get visibility. That, like, Amazon wants that, because through visibility you'll get enough discoverability to drive clicks and then potentially orders, right? The problem is sometimes the recommendation are coming in the shape of, like you said, going a lot higher up the funnel than the brand's prepared to, and that's where you're likely to face a lot lower ROAS or a lot lower conversion rate versus the instances where your resources could be put in use of your best interest to get the returns you actually want.
Awesome. Yeah. So let's just recap those use cases that you put. You downloaded the sheet. You showed us how to basically understand the tabs. You showed us how to understand the way that the campaigns are structured, and the way to use filters to essentially to see the items that you would like to edit. And then you showed us how to edit bids. You showed us how to edit placement modifiers or bid adjustments, as you said. Yeah, I believe that was all of the theoretical use cases that we touched today. Was that correct?
It is correct. Yeah, I think right now, if everything you need to do is focus on that column B and filter by campaign, by ad group, by keyword or product target, and then by that be able to recognize, okay, this is the place where I'm not spending money, or this is a place where I get the most amount of my sales at the campaign level. It's actually a good way to compare and understand where your campaigns are being the most effective. And then we basically surface that you have the chance to go ahead and make adjustments as needed, though those don't necessarily need to reflect immediately by bulk files. Like, you can go ahead and take these, take it back to the ad console and do a change and perform a change manually, while as you begin to feel more familiar with how bulk files work. But it definitely, having everything in one place and being able to compare a lot of these different things in one place, it's definitely helpful.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it was very helpful. I think this was a good intro video to bulk files, showing you how to understand it, how to navigate it, and how to do some basic use cases. I think that in a subsequent video, we'll do a more advanced one, breaking down potentially real life use cases on using formulas to hit certain ACOS and taco goals, and maybe some other advanced techniques that we can put together for you. Well, Gabe, I appreciate you coming on here. I think this was a good episode. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks so much for having me, Eric. I'll see you guys next time.
Perfect.
Thank you for watching. I am a team lead at Bullseye Sellers. I've been in the Amazon and TikTok space for over 10 years, and I've worked with over 100 brands, helping them generate over 100 million in sales. On this channel, I'm going to share real strategies and growth hacks to help you scale your Amazon brand and TikTok shop. If you would like help, please book a free strategy call with our team. A calendar link will be in the description. As well as, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.